It is episode 1000, a special day. Stick with us right here on NFL Network to lead you into Thursday Night Football. Panthers, Falcons. My name's Kay Adams. Like I said, Rocket Mortgage presents this show. Kyle Brandt, Peter Schrager, Nate Burleson, the family all here at the virtual breakfast table. Guys, let's talk TNF. It's time for the
lead block.
Let's get right to it. Randy Moss, get on in here. You're at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte this morning. Oh, love seeing us on the big screen.
Oh, nice.
Appreciate that, Randy. I'm sure you pulled some strings there. What's the vibe in Charlotte? What's the vibe with the Panthers and the Falcons really ahead of tonight's big NFC South matchup?
Well, Kay, in honor of your 1000th episode, right, your 1000th show, I decided to give you the full experience of what it's like to be here in Charlotte, North Carolina at 8 a.m. Eastern on Thursday morning. I might have to hold the umbrella with two hands a time or two, but now, does it have any real meaning about the game at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight? Probably not. Hurricane Zeta is zooming through the upper southeast at warp speed. It's coming north of Charlotte right now. It's going to be pretty much out of any sort of impact zone by the time we get to kickoff tonight. But there's another system that's going to be moving in behind, so it's still a coin flip, according to the various weather apps, as to whether we'll get rain tonight for Falcons Panthers or not. Now, you guys have already reported extensively what Tom Pelissero is reporting, that Christian McCaffrey is out for tonight. To the extent that the Panthers would have played McCaffrey on a dry field, they probably wouldn't have taken that chance anyway. But if there was, a little bit of consideration there of playing him, then the possibility of rain and an unsure footing for tonight might have tipped the scales in favor of sitting him out for another week. But that's the weather update right now from Charlotte.
I hear you on that. Now, Randy, Matt Ryan in the huddle last week told Todd Gurley not to score. But unfortunately, we all know what happened. He did score, and the Falcons had yet another fourth quarter meltdown against the Lions. How do they bounce back? What's the mentality like in that locker room?
That's a great question, and it's a question that the Falcons have been asked a lot. I mean, they want to move past this last week thing, right? But now that this NFL Films audio comes out, that's all everybody wants to talk about. Don't score. So what's interesting, I think, is that the offensive coordinator, Dirk Cutter, who calls the plays, was asked just yesterday, do you practice a situation where you hand the ball off to Todd Gurley and then tell him to get down? Cutter's response was interesting. He said, no, we practice putting the ball where the kicker wants it and then kneeling. In other words, he practices having Matt Ryan take the snap and then moving over a few steps and taking a knee, which leads to the obvious conclusion that Raheem Morris overruled Dirk Cutter in having the ball handed off to Todd Gurley. Now, Raheem Morris has come out and has taken 100% responsibility. He said he thought it was safer for a running back to be handling the ball in that situation than the quarterback. He said, if I had to do it over again, I would have Matt Ryan take a knee. But this thing is still being talked about. And, of course, you have what happened earlier in the year to the Falcons, weeks 2 and 3 with the Cowboys and the Bears. A lot of people were calling that the worst, as in the most improbable, back-to-back losses in NFL history. So the question has been posed all week long, is the team psychologically damaged? Todd Gurley says that it's definitely an issue you have to think about. You don't want to get in a situation where people are saying, oh, no, here we go again. Raheem Morris says there are no psychological issues, but you have to wonder if the confidence of this Falcons team has been shaken more than a little bit.
Appreciate the update, Randy, and the well wishes on our 1000th episode. We'll talk to you throughout the morning here on Good Morning Football, leading into that exciting NFC South matchup. It is Falcons going up to Charlotte, a rainy Charlotte, to take on the Panthers tonight, right here on NFL Network. It's time to talk tools for success, gentlemen, presented by Rocket Mortgage. Let's talk Falcons Panthers. Which player has the tools to give them the edge tonight on Thursday Night Football? Let's start with Kyle.
Okay. I know Todd Gurley has the tools, and I hope we get to see him use those tools. What Randy was talking about right there is you've seen the play over and over of him scoring the touchdown that he didn't want to score against the Lions. What's fascinating is the context now, which we have courtesy of NFL Films, about what was going on in the huddle before that play. Did he know what to do? Were the Falcons all on the same page? It seemed like the answer to those questions is yes. Watch this.
Hey, don't score.
Yeah, I would have
Don't score.
there.
Don't score. Get the first, get down.
The give is to Gurley. Gurley through the middle. They're going to let him score, and he went in. That's a big mistake by Todd Gurley. The Lions are going to get it back. What a mental mistake by Todd Gurley has kept the Lions alive in this one.
You tried. You did your part. Go finish.
Okay, so he knew he couldn't execute it. Let's say this for the record. It's not Matt Ryan's fault. It's not Raheem Morris's fault. It's not Dirk Cutter's fault. It was Todd Gurley's fault. He knew it his assignment. He couldn't execute it. I hope we can move past that because plays like this stick for a long time. If you want to talk the example of Chris Webber calling the timeout, something as small football fans will remember during Tebow Mania when the Broncos beat the Bears, Marion Barber ran out of bounds when if he didn't, the Broncos, people remember that stuff. And Todd Gurley is too good of a player. He's had too good of a career to have this be this giant wart that people talk about 15 or 20 years. I would like to see him go out tonight and do the Todd Gurley thing, which is score 3 touchdowns, have finished the season strong, because this one is going to be tough to shake, and we want to see him do it.
Yeah, and I've already forgotten it. To Nate's point earlier this week, a minute left, the Lions have to go 80 yards. If the defense makes a stop, maybe we're not talking about it today.
Yeah.
So, Todd Gurley, we're watching you tonight. We can't wait. I'm going to go to the other side of the field with Curtis Samuel, who we mentioned earlier in the show is a wide receiver for the Carolina Panthers, but recently has been lining up at running back. Well, Curtis Samuel, he missed one game for the Panthers, and that miss was obvious. Look at what they were on third down. With Curtis Samuel and then without Curtis Samuel. He plays such a huge role in this offense. You know about Christian McCaffrey when he's healthy, and of course they've got other receivers, DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson having great seasons. I think Curtis Samuel could be the most important piece of the offense tonight. He is a third down machine. When they don't have him on the field, they suffer and they really miss him. And I think this evening it's going to be a lot of Curtis Samuel converting on 3rd and short, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. And Curtis Samuel, like you saw right there, could take it from the running back position or play wide receiver. Brooklyn kid. Brooklyn, where you at? Curtis Samuel, let's see you tonight.
No doubt about it. He is the ultimate X factor. The guy who is the star on this team, though, I'm going to go ahead and say it, Robbie Anderson.
All right.
And whenever we describe Robbie Anderson like this, I know he's had some good years here in New York, and we kind of thought, all right, he's showing flashes. But speaking of tools, there were points where people said he just doesn't have the tools, whether it was some of the mistakes he made off the field, whether it's inconsistency on the field, whether it's people just putting him in a box and saying all he does is run go routes and post routes. That's not the case this year. Robbie Anderson is doing it. He's 3rd in the league with yards after catch. What we're seeing right now is exactly that. He's catching the rock, getting upfield. 2nd in the league in yards, 640? Robbie Anderson on his way past the halfway mark to 1,000 yards. This dude is cooking. He took the responsibility not only to understand that I'm on a new squad, I have to rewrite the narrative of my career, but also take that leadership role. Robbie Anderson is that guy. Once he has a breakout game, it's hard for teams to slow down this offense. And just like Curtis Samuel can open up things, if Robbie Anderson is getting busy on the offense side of the ball, their offense just works better. Teddy Bridgewater's in a better rhythm. So he's the guy that has the tools to help this team succeed.
And he's letting DJ Moore make some big plays in recent weeks. He looks really good as well. I'm going to go back to Brian Burns. I just love this kid. I feel like he's going to turn this game on the head tonight. I have a weird feeling. He was a big problem for Drew Brees and a lot of quarterbacks. 3 strip sacks. I think if you watch him, just how quick he gets to the quarterback is really insane and fun to watch. So I'm excited to see him shine bright on the big stage of Thursday Night Football. So that was Tools for Success, presented by Rocket Mortgage. Let's do it. Falcons, Panthers. It's tonight. Teddy Bridgewater joining us to talk about what it will be and what it'll take for Carolina to come away with a win and get back on track. That's right. Teddy Bridgewater will be part of the NFL Game Day kickoff. It's tonight at 6 and only on NFL Network. That game at 7:30 Eastern. You can watch it a bunch of different ways. But hopefully you'll stay here where you can see Tom Pelissero in a suit talking about everything shaking around the league. Tom, the Cowboys traded Everson Griffin earlier this week. They made a few more moves yesterday. What's going down in the D?
Well, Kay, the Cowboys also tried to trade defensive tackle Dontari and cornerback Daryl Worley, but could find no takers and ended up releasing both players just before 4 p.m. yesterday. As you mentioned, they also traded Everson Griffin to Detroit. It means Dallas has moved on from 3 veterans who played a lot on that struggling defense in the past couple of days here. Now, this is not the Cowboys, folding the season at this point. They're trying to shake things up, free up some snaps, for some younger players. And frankly, this also sends a message in the locker room about what happens if you're not playing up to the standard that the Cowboys need you to. Now, the defense is just one of the issues right now for Dallas. They also have a big one at quarterback where, of course, Dak Prescott is out for the season. Andy Dalton is in the concussion protocol. Coach Mike McCarthy said yesterday that Dalton is progressing, but not even to the point that he could attend position meetings yesterday. As of right now, all signs point toward rookie 7th-round draft pick Ben DiNucci out of James Madison making his first NFL start on Sunday night in Philadelphia. Garrett Gilbert would be his backup. Cowboys also bringing back an old friend. Cooper Rush has started COVID testing. He's expected to re-sign to the practice squad over the weekend, Kay.
Appreciate you, DiNucci, Rush. We'll see if any moves are made ahead of that trade deadline. That'll be here in a hurry as we wind down at the end of October. Thank you so much, Tom. Talk to you in a bit. Back to tonight's game. Panthers, Falcons.
Hey.
But before we do that, more love coming in. Brad saying, congrats, you guys. Here's to 1,000 more. We appreciate you. We've got special guests joining us in and out of the show today as we weave and we celebrate. But up next, more on Matt Rule.